He too weak. Said LaVar Ball on whether LeBron James could beat him, presumably in one-on-one. Let's listen.
I noticed you already said you one-on-one versus MJ, you all day, right?
Me all one-on-one?
One-on-one.
Never lost.
Okay, what about you on one-on-one with LeBron?
One-on-one, he too weak.
He too weak?
Back in my heyday, can't nobody hold me. 270?
Okay.
Benching 500? All I got to do is bag you in. I'll lift all of them up off their feet.
Okay, so do we have any video of this, YouTube?
Don't need no video. It's all up here. You want to come see me back in the heyday? I was a bad member jam. I'm going to let you know.
Okay, all
My
right.
will to win was too hard, man. One-on-one, I bet on myself all day.
That's right.
Pablo, can you see a scenario where LaVar Ball's act becomes a bit of a problem for LeBron?
So I think it is cool that LaVar's act partially involves treating the guy from fanaticsview.com like he is Chris Cuomo. He is here to give an audience, and no matter what outlet you are from, he will give his thoughts.
Oh, no, that's not true, because we spent a long time trying to get him on my radio show, and I don't know why the hell. He said no to you? He said no to me repeatedly.
What?
He is saying yes
Wait
to
a minute,
these
wait a minute,
yes,
wait a minute.
Yes.
LaVar Ball, what are you doing?
He said no to us
What are you
repeatedly.
doing?
Yes.
So I think there is a phrase in politics that applies here. If you take LaVar Ball seriously but not literally, there is an issue. Because LeBron James may have to one day answer to why is LaVar Ball blaming LeBron James for something. And that's where this can get dicey if you're LeBron and you're like, I don't feel like spending seconds out of my personal agenda to devote to this man.
But this part of the act, the I can beat you in one-on-one, that's not a big deal. And you know why?
No.
Because I bet LaVar will come in his face, laugh in the same way, will say the same thing. Like, that is facetiously ridiculous.
Yes.
We know that it is ridiculous.
You've also seen him lose to Marcellus Wiley on Sports Station in basketball.
And the dude said he beat Michael Jordan, right? So, like, that's not going to be the thing. Of course, when it becomes the other stuff and when something's not going right with Lonzo, because that's the big thing for him is when Lonzo's not playing well, it's not Lonzo's fault. It's somebody else's fault. Right. So if Lonzo has a stretch where he's not playing well, whose fault is it going to be? He's either going to go back to the Luke Walton well or he's coming at the king.
And I guess it's up to us to figure out, are we going to give credence to his opinions when he blames Walton and some other
right
player?
we are. These minutes don't fill themselves.
Absolutely right. Next quote. I'm not sorry. I'm really not sorry. Said Mark Canha of the A's about his bat flip last night against the Giants after he originally apologized for the bat flip in the same interview when he said, quote, I'm sure a lot of San Franciscans are offended by that, and I'm sorry, end quote. Let's listen to Mark take back his apology for bat flipping.
You know, people getting offended by bat flips is so silly. It's just like, I'm not sorry. I'm not really sorry. You know, it's part of our game. Everybody does it. If somebody's going to throw at me because of it, I got thrown at in the past this season for bat flipping. I clearly didn't learn my lesson. So, you know, if you're offended by that.
Do you respect Mark for taking back his apology?
Yes, 100% respect him. Because look, what you're supposed to do is that other stuff. And then he just got in the middle of it. I was like, what am I talking about? No, I stun, right? Like, that's what I do out here. I be stunned. And he decided he's going to stunt. And he's like, if you want to throw it, the rules are, if I stunt, you throw a baseball at me, right? According to their kind of archaic notions. But that's
rules.
what they do. And he's like, cool, throw a baseball at me. That's fine. I'll make that trade. What you gonna do now?
I love how he gained confidence. He began to realize how he sounded if he wasn't a baseball fan or a baseball purist who obeys the unwritten rules. And he said, yeah, actually, I'm gonna stand up for myself. But my larger criticism of that flip, allegedly, that wasn't a flip. That was like I mean, it wasn't even that, it was this. It did not rotate. In fact, this is a flip. This is what we should be celebrating.
Oh, yeah. And as I recall, that's not even a fair ball.
That's a foul ball in the KBO. And that should be our North Star as a culture.
But the thing is, that is more of a flip. But what you're not giving enough credit to from a man for the A's, whose name I have obviously forgotten already.
Mark.
It's the look. It was the look. Like, the flip wasn't so much. He just looked at him and was like, oh, I don't have to flip this heavy. I just got to do this. Oh. Done. And then stroll up the baseline. I was with that.
Also, his name's right there.
I mean, now. Was it there before?
It was not.
Okay, there we go. Last one. They've lost their way. Said Richard Sherman about the Seahawks, the Monday morning quarterback. Pablo, do you think he's saying this because the Seahawks cut him or because he really believes it?
I think it's a little bit of column A and a lot of column B. I think Richard Sherman certainly has a personal irritation with the way Pete Carroll and John Schneider and the Seahawks have been operating. But I also think that he has a larger point, which is this team and the Legion of Boom specifically, which was such the keystone to the greatness of this franchise, yeah, they have been rocking with management over labor, right? Earl Thomas is still there figuring out, am I going to be around? Cam Chancellor is gone, right? The Legion of Boom, his peers, his brothers are gone. So, yeah, I think they have lost their way from that perspective, sure.
Well, I mean, they got results that would indicate that they've lost something, right? Like the decline in performance would be there. But the other part we got to remember, and this is part of why Seattle could be so good when they were, and part of why it's going the way it is now. So many of those dudes that they had in that run were the same age. And so many of them were cheap when
and
they
now it's
got
7 years later.
Right, now you get farther, but all these guys are not just, they're older, but like at the same age. You can't keep a bunch of dudes like that who are the same age. So yeah, it stands to reason. Earl Thomas, who's the best of all those guys, is the one who's left standing. It makes sense.
Richard Sherman is also saying, by the way, elsewhere in this interview, he's saying that when the 30 for 30 comes out, we'll figure out the real truth.
Oh.
And I'm just excited not to cut a promo for our employer unintentionally.
Does he not know? Thank you for allowing me to read that one card earlier.
We had a negotiation up front, and it was decided that you wanted it more.
It wasn't a negotiation. That was just what it was going to be.
I guess I thought it was a negotiation. You were making a demand. But, Bomani, we do have to talk about this Mike Matheny story, because the last time a manager got fired during the season with a winning record was a decade ago. But after losing 10 to 15, the Cardinals are now closer to last place than first, and Mike Matheny has been axed. Over the past 2 seasons, Matheny has notably alienated Yadier Molina, the most beloved player on the team, and he barely speaks or spoke to $82 million outfielder Dexter Fowler. Matheny also fined players based off reports from reliever Bud Norris, detailing whether players had lived up to the team's standards or not. So, Bo, hearing all that, were the Cards justified in firing Mike Matheny?
To be fair, I don't feel like you set that up in such a way to make the case in the opposite direction, right?
It was kind of a loaded deck.
You throw all of that at me, so what do you think? You think they should have kept him? I mean, it could have. They had a string of postseason success with him, but this is looking to be the 3rd straight year that they missed the postseason. And look, that's one of those jobs that is kind of like an NFL job. The St. Louis Cardinals job. If you're not making the playoffs in 3 straight years, then they're going to get you out of there. That's on top of the fact that it sounds like a mutiny's a brewing.
Right. Well, is that particular to St. Louis because of the best fans in baseball?
Well, no, I mean,
or why? Because they have a self-image about greatness?
There's no reason why they in that division should not consistently win, just based on all the other factors that you have at play. But look, man, if you've got a mutiny starting, which is what seemed to be happening
It does
here,
sound like that from afar.
When the world finds out you got an in-house snitch and you are kind of okay with him being the in-house snitch, you just lost everybody else.
Right. And you know what? This is bad news for everyone else who was considering implementing an in-house snitch program. Because when I first heard it, I was like, wow, that sounds like an in-house snitch program. That sounds like a terrible idea. But then I was like, I guess things aren't like, he's not like fired or anything. And now he's fired, and now we have to consider whether anyone had any reason to think that that would work.
But dude, yeah, in-house snitches work if people don't know who the snitch is. The in-house snitch thing stops working once you, basically that dude turns into a security camera.
Oh, he had a sheriff badge.
Right. He's Popo.
Yes.
Right? No, we're not going to do this right in your face.
Right.
No, we're just not going to talk about anything around you at this point.
Right. Bud Norris is saying that, oh, this reliever was selling water bottles on the street.
Right. Well, that was a dysfunctional situation. Now, the question is there losing a byproduct of the fact that the situation was dysfunctional? Because I do think if they were winning, then he still gets to keep the job in spite of the insanity that's at play. But if you're not winning and that's when the mutiny comes.
Right.
And you can't have it.
Well, one of the other factors in this mutiny is that several pitchers, apparently, they did refuse to be honest with Mike Matheny about their injury, about their health. A season-ending injury to #1 prospect Alex Reyes, strained oblique for Michael Wacha, a severe elbow strain for Adam Wainwright, finger circulation issue for Matthew Bowman. These are actually, if you cannot communicate with the manager of your team honestly about your health, that's another issue.
But I need an explanation as to why they couldn't. Right? Like, what is it that you were worried about was going to happen if you told them? Because I saw that detail in that athletic story also, and I just couldn't understand why it is that you don't, like, it would be different if you're not being honest because you're not as hurt as you're making it out to be. But I don't know what the hell you're proving to Mike Matheny by throwing your arm out.
But it did seem to suggest that that manager did have to go.
Well, and he's gone.
Hey kids, when you can't watch, you can listen to this show on Apple Podcasts and the ESPN app. Bomani's show too. And mine, do you know who I am?
I'm just guessing. That's all I got.
Let's get to a different number, Bomani Jones. 3. That's how many pitches, tough pitches, John Wall fouled off. Do you think there's a chance you could do better here?
Hold on. Let's see where these pitches are coming from.
Yeah.
Okay, fouled it off.
Right on top of it, though.
Ooh. Let me ask you a question. Prior to this, do you think John Wall has ever swung a bat at like a baseball pitch? Like I'm sure he's played some slow pitch softball stuff. You think he's ever swung a baseball bat?
Oh, that is an underhand pitch, though. That's not even a baseball pitch.
But I'm asking you. It is possible that might be the first time he has ever done this.
Well, John Wall, I want to be clear, is one of the greatest athletes to ever play the sport of basketball. We agree objectively on that. But he does not have a great record when it comes to baseball-related activities. I believe we have video of him throwing a baseball.
This is what I'm saying, man. There are real questions to be asked about how much baseball John Wall has participated in. Do you think that's a man who looks like he's played a lot of baseball before?
In fact,
does he look like he's ever played baseball before?
It looks like he hasn't seen baseball before, and that makes it all the more impressive, actually, that he was out there in that cage or that netting doing this.
Also, swinging a baseball bat's one of those things that's harder than it looks.
I agree.
I went to do some batting cage stuff. I used to be a halfway decent, Little League baseball player.
You're a small Bomani.
I hadn't touched a baseball bat in the longest, man. I was like, yo, why is it taking me so long to get this bat through here?
Hips, I think.
Yeah, what is that? It's harder than it looks. And to think about how much harder it is than it looks, I bet if you drop John Wall off at a golf course and the first time he played golf, he would be better at that than he is at swinging that baseball bat.
Yes.
That bat is also mad small, too.
I have a lot of questions about this. I don't know if John Wall's PR people are necessarily looking out for him in this case.
Nah.
Maybe if that first pitch was the video we have, don't do that thing.
It humanizes him.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
Next
Humanization.
number. Next number, 76. That's the rating for Eli Manning in Madden 2018. Hold up, though. That's behind Josh Rosen, behind Lamar Jackson, and behind Baker Mayfield, and tied with Jacoby Brissett. Pablo, should Eli be annoyed by this?
I feel like I have become the de facto Eli Manning defender on this program, and not least because my dad's cousin worked as his nanny. I think it's because Eli Manning just isn't getting the respect. He's not getting the respect that he deserves. 2 rings, 76, was that what it was?
76.
76. Really? I mean, Eli Manning deserves better than that, and also, this is a real thing that guys care about. That's the other part of this discussion.
Nah, I think he's about a 76. Maybe you can make the argument that those other dudes shouldn't be over him, but he is about a 76. But why did you do that? You did it again. You brought up the nanny. Do you realize how hard you have to go to name drop?
That's not a name drop. That is merely a salute.
It's even worse than a name drop. It's that you had to pick something up to attach to a name, by the way, that has a 76 overall rating in Madden.
People should know that my people have worked in the service of the Manning family, and so I do come at this from a certain conflict of interest. It's a conflict of interest disclosure,
Right. Your kinfolk work for a dude with a 76 rating in Madden.
Yeah, it does sound terrible now that you spell it out.
Yeah, but this is where he is. These arguments about the good Eli Manning, what the hell are you talking about? Where is it from? When's the last time you saw that?
I just hope he had one of those, what are the intent, awareness? I hope he had a 98.
Why?
Why not?
What about Eli?
2 rings.
What about Eli Manning's
Be aware of the 2 rings.
His awareness should be set on what?
Yeah, smiling and looking conscious should be lower than that. 22-0. That was the score in a preseason game between Everton, from the English Premier League, and ATV Erdning, hailing from the 7th Division of Austria, which we've clearly heard about before. Bomani, if you were playing for the losing team here, would you have kept playing hard?
Dude, I can't even lie. I was going to get on you about that nil thing because I thought it was more of that stuff, and then it turned out to be soccer, because why would I think 22-0 was the score in a soccer match? Where are they playing this, by the way? Are they playing it on the home field? For the bottom team?
ATV Erdning, I believe this may be their home field.
To answer your question, hell no, I would have been playing hard. Forget hard, I'm not playing anymore. At this point, we're down 10-0?
In fact, the goalie stops playing. The goalie just doesn't participate in the game at a certain point.
This is comedy, though.
I mean-
beat him down. Like, the fact that Everton is approaching this like, no, don't turn off the gas. You never know.
That's an own goal. That was his own teammate.
Wow.
And he didn't even try to do anything.
I mean, they couldn't run four corners, right? They don't have some offense that they can run.
They didn't want to stanch the bleeding.
No.
The goalie, though, the goalie here just didn't move. He just didn't move.
I feel like somebody must have said something in the pregame, right? Like some smack was talked, and Everton was like, oh, okay, we was just going to come out here. You know, I thought it was supposed to be an exhibition. That's basically what happened to those guys.
People need to know what the odds are. Like, could you gamble on this game? Because I feel like that's the only other
fact that there were
explanation.
graphics and cameras means that somebody televised it?
Everton released a 12-minute highlight reel, by the way.
Wow.
On their official
That's
account
cold.
of that.
That's cold. Last one, number 4. Number of Coors Field security guards. This idiot on the field left in the dust when he jumped into what he thought was the safety of the stands until another fan put him down. Pablo, how do you feel about the Fan Institute Vigilante Justice? Honestly, I had no idea this was on the show. I haven't seen this yet. Oh, this sounds fantastic. Yeah! Boom! Yeah, man. I got to tell you, man. Yeah, you're supposed to answer the question. Go ahead.
Well, my first thought is we had very thoughtful geopolitical streaking fan crossing the field. But that dude, I am surprised that you enjoy the sheriff of beating that dude Downington as much as you have.
Well, see, that's where this gets to be interesting. I think that trespassing like that is just so moronic, and I take such great joy. Look, here's the thing about it, all right, with security guards.
Yes.
So if you ever talk to, like, somebody who's a janitor or something, their job is to clean up. It's not to clean up after you, right? You know, so they're supposed to come in and tidy things up, but not because you spilled something on the floor.
Right.
It's the same thing with the security guards. Their job's to keep it safe. But come on, man, these dudes ain't getting paid enough to have to chase somebody around. That dude right there, he built like old buddy from Coming to America, but you don't recognize the Queen to Be dude. And he did not come here for all this, but he gonna feel that tomorrow, but he's gonna feel that next week.
So on one level, yes, obviously we can applaud the guy for making the hit. But on the other level, don't we have to reevaluate the hiring criteria for security guards?
How much money do you think they're going to pay those dudes?
I'm not saying that there's a great large pool and there's a big carrot on the end of that stick, but
I do think, though,
that's part of the job.
I do think, though, that security guards at the stadium, they probably put too much of emphasis on strength when they need more.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Like the Freeze, for example, in Atlanta. The Freeze should probably be out here helping the security guards. But let's also talk about this fan, because the fan gave him that work.
He was ready.
Right, but hold on. Just watch this. He gives him the work. And then he just gets up and walks away. Like it was no big deal to him. This was just his opportunity. And I don't believe that's because he cared about the sanctity of the field. He just had his opportunity to drop his shoulder and knock somebody out. Like, look at him. He's like, he ain't trying to talk to the other fans. He's not trying to get somebody to buy him a brew. Bam!
That was objectively and clinically speaking a power bomb. I mean, and oh wow. Is that kid is he a football player? Like, what's that kid's story? What is the origin story of that young man?
I believe that's more the spine buster slam. Power bombs when you flip them up over your head and bring them on your back.
Right. That's wrestling terminology.
That's the Arn Anderson. That young boy. You know what? That young boy probably don't even know who Arn Anderson is. Yet the spirit of Double A lives through him. Good on him.
And by the way, there can't be a lawsuit against him, right? Like, once you streak, like, the law does respect those who may...
Here's the only thing I'm thinking about legally here. When he was on the field, he was trespassing.
Ooh.
When he's in the stands, his ticket kind of allows him to be there.
I want to be a Supreme Court case now.
Yeah.
I want this to go on.
High Noon, 9 a.m. Pacific, is brought to you by Mountain Dew Kickstart. Bold, refreshing, with the boost of dew. And Domino's. Order online at